We don't suffer what happens in life. We suffer our thoughts about what happens. When we are identified as the thoughts in our mind, we can't get away from the thoughts because they are us, and thus we cannot get away from the mind-made suffering. When we realize that we are the one observing, aware of the thoughts, and the thoughts are the observed, then we are free to look away from them and thus not suffer. When we are identified as the thoughts in our mind, we can't get away from them because the thoughts are us. You know what I mean? You're getting, like, it's you, so you can't get away from it. When you realize the truth that you are the one that is aware of the thought, now there is an observer and a thought. And now the observer can just look away. What happens when you take your attention away from a thought? What happens to the thought? It disappears. It disappears. You take your attention away from a thought, and the thought disappears. The thought is powerless without your attention and without your belief. But with your attention and with your belief, a thought can drive you mad. You see? When we realize that we are the one observing, aware of the thoughts, and that the thoughts are the observed, then we are free to look away from them and thus not suffer them. Next, past and future don't exist. The only way to experience past and future is to think, have thoughts about the past and the future. That pulls us right back up into the thinking mind, and thus into suffering. In meditation, I am primarily training my mind, training my most powerful tool, my attention. Where my attention goes, so goes my experiencing of reality. A thought with your attention can drive you mad. A thought without your attention is absolutely powerless. In meditation practice, I sit holding my attention in the present moment, and when it wanders away, I simply bring it back. Eventually, it begins to stay, and when it does, I experience directly the peace and joy of the self, the natural state unobstructed by the mind. I wrote that. Thank you. 20 years in the making. I only teach about what I directly experience. You know, this is not rhetoric. And when your mind is out of the way, you know, it's like the sun behind the clouds. The sun is always the sun. It doesn't have to work to be the sun. It doesn't have to become the sun. When the sun is obscured by the clouds, you can't see it, but it's still there. When your true nature, loving kindness, compassionate, patience, awareness, is obscured by the thoughts in the mind, it seems as though it's not there, but it's there. This is not a becoming. The spiritual practice is not a becoming. It is a letting go of everything that is not you, to be left with that which cannot be let go of. Yes, well, I'll try. I'm not really good at repeating myself. That spirituality is not a becoming. You don't become enlightened. You realize that you are already enlightened and you have always been. And the spiritual path is not a becoming. It is a letting go of everything that can be let go of, that is not you. You are, if it can be let go of, it's not you. And you'll get to a point where there's all that's left is that which cannot be let go of. The pure awareness that has never been affected by time, that has never been in a bad mood, that has never been in a good mood, that is just natural state of peace and joy. Joyfulness. Has joyfulness with sadness, has joyfulness with happiness, has joyfulness with neutrality. All is just tasting the experiencing of reality.